Alright, I think I'm going to find that this is more useful than actually demonstrating on the screen to where everybody can watch on their own. So here we go. If we open up Premiere, you're going to get this dialog box where it says New Project, Open Help, pretty self-explanatory. So we're going to go ahead and go to New. And we get all these options. Now, for this particular video, I'm not worried about all of this. I am going to navigate to where I can save this to my desktop so I can easily get rid of it. And that's just, I'm just going to call this something so it has a name. Alright, and then we come to this little, basically it's a resolution menu where you can pick your high definition, your standard definition. And if you don't have the update, which you should by now, because it should ask you to install the codecs. If not, you won't have this little digital SLR, and this is important because that's what we use for our cameras. But for now, I'm not too worried about that. I'm just going to pick the widescreen 48 kilohertz. I'm not worried about the sequence name. We're going to give it OK. Okay, now this looks different than Photoshop or Flash or anything that you've come into. And if we look at our window, we have three major sections. We have our project panel where everything is located. We have our source to where if we had any images, movies, whatever that we want to edit, we can drag over into here. And then we have our sequence, which is basically these two. Whatever is down here is going to appear up here. So first, let's go ahead and import some footage. Anything you have, it could be an image, could be whatever. I'm going to go ahead and import this little video that we did for A Natural High last year, and I'm going to drag this in. Now notice it appears in the project panel, but nowhere else. So if I take it and I drag it over, it now appears. And this is where you can edit and fine-tune where exactly you would like the clip to start and stop. And then once we do that, we can drag it down here and it will be in our project program sequence. So a couple things. Obviously, we know the play and stop buttons. But let's say, we're watching this video and I want that to be my endpoint. Well, that's what this is. And the video now will start at that endpoint. And let's say that after editing, I want it to stop here on this particular scene. I set my out point. Now if I take this and I drag it down, it now appears in our sequence and also in our program sequence window over here. Now this, if we're trying to grab, edit, do some transitions with, it's very small. One way to fix that is to simply drag this out. And notice it makes this bigger. It doesn't change the time, it just shows you more frames rather than seconds to allow for this clip to look longer so we can actually edit it if we would like. Now one thing we should be able to do is notice how we have black around here. And this is really only a problem if you pick the wrong format that the video was shot in, or you have an image that could be too big and you want to scale it to actually fit the frame that you are using in Premiere. If we right click on our clip and we scale to frame size, this one here isn't going to work, so it makes a liar out of me. That's great. But you get the idea. It should work, but it doesn't. But that's how you would do it, especially if you had an image that was bigger. And notice that if I scrub my playhead, you know, video moves how we would like. Okay, so that is that. And then the other thing is, let's say, you put another movie in. Let's pick another endpoint, and let's pick another out point. And let's drag this on top. Okay, so now it's going to cut from here. This is going to be the video that shows. But notice the problem. We also have two audios. And let's say we only want the audio of this one. Well, see how these are linked together? If we right click and we choose unlink, now we can go ahead and actually delete the audio of that one. So the only audio we have is from our first clip. Now, obviously this one's not going to line up because it's two different clips, but you get the point of how that is done. So that is that. And let's say we want this audio here to be lower. Well, we can physically click and drag it. And there you go. That's how you change audio. Now I can also import pictures. Let's try to import a picture here and see if that actually works. I'll take this and we'll put it in our timeline. And obviously there it's too big. Let's right click, let's scale to frame size, and there we go. So the image pretty much works. I guess it must be just a video thing where it doesn't work. So that's how we scale to fit an image. And let's say if I dragged my picture down to here and I wanted an easy way of getting it to snap in, I can just right click and choose Ripple Delete, and it will snap everything back up nice and tidy to there. Alright, so that concludes the first little section here. We're going to get into other stuff later, but hopefully this will give you just a little bit of a intro to actually how this is going to work, and we will go from there later.